Few people know bees that pollinate fruits and vegetables at the supermarket are not from backyard hives. It's a cohort of 1.7 million colonies of honeybees that travel around North America during growing seasons to support agricultural production. These bees have it tough, but so do their beekeepers. There is no way to monitor what's going on inside a hive except to look. Until now. Combplex helps commercial beekeepers do what they're best at, keeping their bees alive.
Hello, I'm Haley Schofield, and I'm one of the co-founders of Combplex. Combplex is a remote monitoring solution for commercial beekeepers. So you might have heard that bees are kind of having a hard time lately. I'm a bee researcher, and I love to tell people that it's a great time to work in honeybee research. It's not such a good time to be a honeybee. The truth is, it's even harder to be a beekeeper. That's because there's a number of parasites, pesticides, pathogens, nutrition issues, and genetic problems that make it even harder than it's ever been to keep bees alive. Beekeepers have to actually go into the colony and inspect their bees to keep abreast of all of these health issues. This is especially hard for the beekeepers that are responsible for the food that we eat every day. These bees are the secret workhorses of U.S. agriculture. They are shipped around the country on the back of semi-trucks going farm to farm where they pollinate everything from berries to avocado and all sorts of other crops. These bees go through this incredibly stressful process where they're shipped out to farms, and these small family beekeepers often are managing tens of thousands of bees. Combplex started as a collaboration in between two graduate students. We wanted to know, what do these bees actually experience when they're on the back of the truck? When they're spread out across all these farms, across counties and sometimes even state lines, or on the back of those trucks. It's incredibly difficult for beekeepers to know how their bees are doing. That means it's really hard for those beekeepers to keep their bees healthy and keep them alive. Combplex solves this problem. We have a smart frame that collects data from the internal environment of the colony and transmits it through low-power networks to the cloud. With simple analysis, we can tell a beekeeper remotely which colonies need their help, allowing them to streamline their work logistics so that they spend more time with their hands on their bees than they do in the car driving farm to farm around the country. So you might have seen in the news that from time to time, bees in the US have a hard year, and there's a lot of bee death. Commercial beekeepers have a little bit better, and they only lose 600,000 bees every year, only. Commercial beekeepers are unique because they lose half of their bees during the summer. And from an industry perspective, we see these as largely preventable losses. These bees that are lost every year are worth $80 million in lost revenue and the costs from recouping those lost bees. Another way to think about this problem is to look at it from the perspective of the markets that are dependent on honeybee pollination. These are some of the top groups that need honeybees in order to have appreciable yields. When honeybee populations go down or commercial beekeepers can't supply enough bees to pollinate those crops, we can expect price increases in these markets. They're heavily affected by bee health. So Combplex has three sources of revenue. Of course, the sales of our hardware product and a subscription model for our data analysis. There's also huge potential for market facilitation between beekeepers and the growers that are dependent on their services. Today, this interaction is incredibly inefficient and wildly opaque, and we hear from both sides that they want this to change. Importantly, beekeepers want to be able to work with farmers to ensure that when they have healthy bees and the farmers have pollinator-friendly farms, that the prices reflect that ecological value. That's not true today. So Nathan and I are both current PhD students here at Cornell. I work in a world-famous honeybee behavior lab, and Nathan's background was in biotech and electrical engineering before he came to Cornell to study complex systems. We started this project because we really wanted to know what the bees experience in these conditions, and we also want to change the way that agriculture works for all pollinators. With Combplex data, we can do this by ensuring that we are monetizing ecological services and that the prices that pollinators are offering match the ecological value of the farms that they're working to pollinate. I want to go back to the point that bees are really important. And it's not just because it has to do with our diet, but bees are also an indicator species in these agricultural ecosystems. And through the eyes of the bees and the data that we can collect from these colonies, we can have a unique and novel way of looking at agricultural markets. So if anybody has experience working with agricultural technology data or working in the agricultural tech market, we'd love to talk to you. Thanks.
This is a production of DMIG, the Dyson Media Innovation Group.